Hi guys, bienvenue to my channel. My name is Ifeolu Aishola. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking and always returning back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification, post, and give this video a thumbs up. In today's video, I want to talk about honorifics in relationship. If this sounds like something you are interested in, comment on. Okay, guys, so I had like a personal encounter with somebody who talked about the use of honorifics in relationship, and apart from that, I've had people come to my DMs to ask questions, discuss about the use of honorifics in relationship. People want to know if it's still something that exists, or if it's still something that is to be practiced, or if it's something that have like a major effect on your relationship. And I just felt like, okay, you know what, it's high time that we just need to discuss this matter, because it is something that I know everybody has something to say about it, you understand? But people feel like it's not important. They feel it's not something that you should dwell your time on it to talk about. But I feel like it's something that is really, really important, because you will hear some people say that age is a huge determinant in your relationship. And when this is a huge determinant in relationship, that means honorifics is not far from it. Okay. And from this part of the world, in Nigeria, especially Africa, it's always normal that the husband is, or the husband or the guy is usually a bit more older than you are, a bit more older than the wife. And so it's expected that, I think they think that automatically commands respect, and it automatically just help the relationship to be stable, with a sense that they feel like, okay, because the man is a bit older than the wife, is going to be more matured, is going to be more experienced, and is going to be more like responsible enough to be able to handle some things at home or in the relationship. So basically, I feel like that's the reason why it is usually something that is celebrated in the African culture, where we have the man to be older than the woman. And nowadays, of course, civilization is setting in. I'm seeing relationships as well that the wife is older than the husband, and they're doing fine. Respect is in the relationship. You would not even know that the wife is older than the husband, because they understand themselves. They just know how to communicate. So that brings me to the point that age does not mean that you're matured. Age does not mean that you're responsible. Age does not mean that you can handle some things in way people will expect you to. I've seen some people who are in their late 30s and they behave as if they are just a teenager. And I've seen teenagers that, as in the way they behave, the way they respond, you'll be like, oh my God, this person is actually matured more than the age. And of course, you are not new to it. You hear people say it. You hear them saying, oh, this person behaves more mature than the age and stuff like that. So yes, I've come to that point where I can categorically say it, that age does not equals wisdom, does not equals responsibility, does not equals that the person is matured enough to handle a lot of things. Okay, so now I think I've done so much on introduction. Now talking about honorifics, somebody will be asking me, what is honorifics? It's just like it sounds, honorifics, giving honor. Okay, and when honorifics come about, some people see honorifics as referring to your husband by Mr. or by uncle or by brother or by whatever it is. And in I'm a Yoruba person, okay. I'm a Yoruba person, does that even go? I'm a Yoruba girl, and in Yoruba language we use e for person that we respect, okay. E is like a pronoun for, should I say a pronoun? Yeah, a pronoun for respect, okay, to somebody that you are older than, or to somebody that is older than you rather. And that is how we do it in Yoruba culture, okay. And now let me start with my own personal experience that I have. It's going to help you to settle well into this video. So my husband is a bit older than I am, of course. And when we started, of course, we started more like he's my sister's friend, you understand. He was my sister's friend and he's still my sister's friend. And I just saw him as that, my sister's friend, okay. And apart from the fact, like, the guy is fine. My husband is hot. Have you seen him? Oh my jeez. Oh my God, that is fine, all those kind of things. And I was liking him as my sister's friend. And gradually from there we moved to being friends. And then from friends he made his intention notes, and voila, where we are today. Okay, so but then I think with the kind of background that we have, or the way we started, of course I could not have called him by name, because it was my sister's friend, and my sister is like Like my sister is super older than I am, so I do not call him by his name. Of course, it's obvious. So I do call him like bro Ebenezer, something like that. So, but then when it got to a point where he made his intention known, we started being friends. Of course, the brush dropped, not because I lost my respect for him, but because I just felt like it's going to make help me to be more, to be able to be more open with him. But then when we communicate in Yoruba, I do not use O for him. You understand? I still use the F for him, like Ejo eba mi gbele, or Ejo eba mi check on or Ejo eba mi. You understand that kind of a thing? But then that does not mean that there's like a barrier between my husband and I. Now, let me quickly run through the pros and cons of using honorifics in marriages or in relationships. Some will say the advantage of using honorifics is it helps you to stay in your lane. You understand? Some feels like when they use honorifics for their spouse, especially their husband, they feel like it helps them to not, disrespect him. It helps them not to stay out of course. Because of course, when they say sir, we must not be disrespecting sir. You understand? But for me, I will always say when anybody tells you with all due respect, sir, just know that insult is about to come. Okay? So the fact that I call you Mr. or the fact that I call you brother or uncle does not mean that I respect you, if you understand what I mean. Okay? Now, another advantage some people see it as is that outsiders will not be able to refer to your husband by their name. Now, I know a lot of couples that do not do well with them hearing outsiders calling their husbands by their name. You understand? Because they feel like if I'm not calling my husband by my name, who are you to call my husband by his name or her name? Okay, and especially in Yoruba land, they always tell you that the way you present your husband or the way you call him, I don't want to say the way you present because I mean that is highly debatable, but then they'll say the way you call your husband is the way others will help you call him. So if you decide to call him by his name, people are going to call him by his name. And if you call him using the brother, of course, people will also want to use the respect to his name. So I feel like those are the major two advantages that I know that people will say, okay, this is the advantages that is attached to using honorifics in relationships. And when we now come to the downsides of it, you will see some people saying using honorifics in relationship kinds of being a barrier between them and their partner. They feel like they are not playful enough with their partner. They feel like they cannot be, open to him. They feel like they cannot be playful with their partner because they feel like using that honorifics for him or her is putting him or her in that high stage and like, hey, mommy, you understand? You cannot relate on the level of my boyfriend, my guy, the bone of my bone. You understand that kind of thing. The disadvantage of not using honorifics in relationships is that it's not going to help you build boundaries. You understand? Like it's not going to help you build boundaries, and then the husband can talk to you anyhow, or your wife can talk to you anyhow, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. This is basically about relationship, you get. So those are like the advantage and disadvantage. Now bringing in home. Now the first time I experienced this was, I think I was in a conversation with somebody and we got to speak in Yoruba, and I was saying like, oh yeah, I want to make a call, like you told me you called, and the person was like, wait, what was that? Was that like the person was easily irritated with it, and the person could not just wrap their head around the fact that I was using air for my husband. Like why would you do that? Are you sure you'll be free with him and something? And I'm like, oh my jeez, have you seen me and my husband play? I mean, like, I'm super, super duper free with this guy, and I do not think there's any boundary between us. Like, for what boundary? Like, which land are we sharing? I don't understand. Okay, so then that is me. Okay, and the fact that I use air for him when we speak in Yoruba, this is like once in a while because we do usually do not communicate in Yoruba language. We usually communicate in English language, and I don't call him by Mister. I don't call him by brother, except when there are times when we want to tease ourselves. I can decide to be like, Mr. Ishola. You understand that kind of thing when we want to tease ourselves. But the fact that I refer to my husband with air in Yoruba does not mean that I'm not free with him, does not mean that I cannot be playful to the large extent that I want. Now, the fact that I'm also playful with my husband does not mean that I do not respect him. Okay? And that is the table I want to break right now. Do not think that using an honorifics in your relationship automatically means that you respect your spouse or you respect your partner. I've seen a lot of people that use honorifics in their relationship and they do not have 1 ounce of respect for their spouse. They do not. Okay, so do not just assume that because they say if this person is older than us and we have to use a certain title or a certain way of speaking to this person, does not mean that automatically hand that person is the respect that he or she deserves. And that's why I tell people, okay, if you want to use honorifics in your relationship, by all means, please do, but then do not allow it to dictate the way you relate with your partner. Okay, do not allow it to dictate the way you guys see each other. Do not allow it to dictate the level of your respect. Do not think just because you call your husband with a prefix, that means that is automatically a respect, okay? Or do not think that, okay, because I do not call my husband with a prefix, then that means I do not respect him, all right? Whatever way you want to handle your relationship, I feel like it's a personal thing. I've seen people who call their husbands by daddywa and they're doing fine. Okay, now I might have issues with it. That's my problem. That's my cup of tea, not their business. They're not concerned about it. But then I've seen people who do not refer to their husband as daddy. I do not refer to my husband as daddy, and I do not think when our children comes as well, I will still refer to him as daddy. Except probably we want to tease ourselves again. I can decide to be like, oh, daddy so so so, daddy so so so, or baba so so so. You understand? That is probably because I'm trying to look for his trouble or something. But then me calling him daddy, that's personally for me because I feel like I cannot just flow with that. Like, he's not even going to accept it. So why will I want to start it? All right. Now, that does not mean that another family that decides to call their husband daddy or they decide to call their wife mommy that does not mean that they don't have respect in their relationship or they are not close or there's no intimacy or they don't have, they are not being playful with each other. Okay, now another notion I want to correct about honorifics in relationship is do not think that because you use honorifics in the relationship then there's an extent to which you guys are free with each other. I'm not a subscriber to that. Okay, now if I decide to be using honorifics in my relationship, that does not mean that I'm not free with my husband. That does not mean that there's a level to which we will not be able to talk to ourselves. Because I've come across some people who believe that using honorifics in relationship does not allow the both of you to tell yourself the truth the way friends would have talked. Like, I don't know, I can explain it further, but then they believe that because you're using honorifics for yourself, or because you're using or you're using daddy while for your spouse, if that's what you do, they believe that you guys are deceiving yourselves. Like you're powerful and like you're not telling yourself the truth. You understand? And when I mean the truth, not like he's not telling you where he went to or stuff, but they just believe like you've actually raised a fence, and that fence is like a wall of security, like a wall of fire around you guys, and then there's no way you can. You understand? There's no way you can be free with yourself to talk. To me, I do not think that is right. I do not think it's correct, and I'm never going to accept it. Okay. Now I've seen people who do well using honorifics. I've seen people who do well using prefix for their spouse's name, and they are free with like they tell themselves the truth. Like you even be surprised with the kind of intimacy that they share. Okay. And I've seen people who call themselves by name, and they did not even inti not to talk about Messi. You understand? So it's just different. I feel like it's the way individuals are able to handle it. That is what works for them. Now, what's my submission about honorifics in a relationship? I would say do whatever rocks your boat. Whatever makes your boat sail faster, please by all means do. If you feel like you're comfortable calling your husband, because I remember one of the questions I answered, I don't know if it was last week now or 2 weeks ago, and the person was, was a question of a man that was complaining about his wife, I'm sorry, his girlfriend calling him by name because he's super older than him and things like that. Now, there are some people that just have this mentality of, babe, I'm older than you are. You do not call me by my name. And that does not affect any intimacy that they have. That does not affect the fact that they are playful with themselves. That does not affect anything. But then that is just the kind of moral value that they hold so dear to them. You understand? Now, that is what works for the both of you, and you guys are fine. Please, by all means, go ahead and do. But if you know that it doesn't work for you, you know that you cannot be comfortable calling your brother uncle or daddy table. You understand that kind of thing. If you know you're not comfortable with it, please get him a pet name, okay? If you feel like calling him by name would be too or something like that, get a pet name for him. Pet name that is so sweet and romantic. You understand? Get a pet name for him. And like I said in that my video, I said it, communicate in English more. Okay, English doesn't have its beds. All right, so communicate in English. If you know that communicating in your dialect might like posing a threat, or communicating in your dialect might be posing like a barrier to you, communicate in English. Okay, get a pet name for him, and you guys are fine. All right, so I feel that's that about honorifics in a relationship. It's not bad to use honorifics in relationship, and also honorifics does not automatically equals to respect. All right, guys. So do well to share with me in the comment section. What is your take on honorifics in relationship? Do you think honorifics in relationship is gradually becoming something of extinct, or do you think that because we are the millennials and we are the 21st century and probably trying to suppress that value or whatever it is? Just let me know in the comment section. Share your thought with me, engage with me, and I'll be glad to interact with you. So I hope you subscribe. Please do well to subscribe, guys. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and I cannot wait to share the joy with you. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking to this video. I really hope that you enjoy it. Pasco said important for more that you do. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Age is not like age is not what is that English I'm looking for. Another person will say the disadvantage of not using honorifics in relationship is what? I don't know.